Alright, now we're just going to mess around with it a little bit. I'm going to use the layer brush to kind of get into this idea. Might be a little harsh, so I'm just going to back that down. Make my brush a little bit bigger. Go back up just a little bit. And it's cool, but I like this to be a little bit harder. So, don't do hardness. Nope, too hard. Yeah, that's it. Also notice that it's on view, not seen. So, and then that changed that. So, wow, such a big difference with the layer brush. Good. Okay, and what I want that to look like on one side is different, so I'm going to use the smooth brush on max to blend that to the base. So I zoom out to kind of get a read on things. If it looks good small and tight, like a thumbnail view of it, so that's what the layer brush does. It just kind of gives you a nice layer, and you can always blend it back into the other thing. Another thing that's really handy is the pinch brush, which is right here. So a pinch brush allows you to pinch this top part right here, and that will sharpen up that edge. Might be a little early on to do this, but I will show you what it does. You can see how sharp that looks now. Alright, so the idea here is to practice at making bark. Now, you can do it in so many different ways, and you know, I won't lie, it's been a while since I did bark too, so it's going to be a learning curve for me too. I always kind of blob something very big, all in one swoop, and then I'll blob another one all in one swoop. Why? Because that way I can undo it if it looks bad. And I know at least goes into one direction. Alright, so there's my first thing. I'll do that to make the first blobs. Okay. And then I might experiment to see how much detail I can get just in one little area and then repeat that process over and over again. Check back with my little thing. So the bigger blobs then get flattened, it looks like, and then detail put onto them. So I would use a thing called a scrape brush. It is this one. So if you scrape, looks like this. Again, I'm doing this in very big waves, not letting go of the mouse, because right now I can totally undo all of this if I wanted to. Okay, there's my second wave. And I can't really zoom in all that well here. So this is my next stage of zoom. Alright, so the next part, I might use this tool, which is draw sharp brush, and subtract it. And then go in here with a really small brush and just kind of do some of this. Then also take and divide some of these forms up using that same method. Alright, and last I might go into the grab elastic and just kind of do some of this stuff. So if the grab elastic's just too grabby with the whole area, I can use the grab tool, which allows me to go into a smaller area. And this will allow me to go in and kind of pump these off the surface a little bit. But it allows me to keep all the detail too. Alright, and then if I wanted to add even more detail, what I do is pinch. And I'll pinch some of the major forms together, and that will make it look like it even has more detail. This first initial pass is just to build form really big and broad. This is not about this last layer, which is, see how this little tiny stuff, that is way later. Okay, the first one is just to get this rough bark, and then later you can always remesh it one more time somehow to get a little bit more detail in those areas to support this. But don't forget, if you're making something for 3D print, is it going to be printable at that small? You know what I mean? Like, how big is this thing going to be? It might be only this, this small little tiny model, and you might already have the level of detail you need. Alright, so I showed you an example. Now just grab a few brushes and try to mimic some kind of bark on this tree stump that you made.